Hello everyone, this is Will Taylor with the Reserve Team of the Homes Finder Realty Group. What does it mean to actually work with a real estate agent? If you've never worked with one before, there can be a few things needed to actually get the process going. And today we're going to talk about one of the most important things, agency. And of course we're going to look at all of this through a South Carolina lens. But first, you know the drill, hit like and subscribe below to keep the low country content coming. And now, let's dive in. For starters, what does it mean to be a real estate agent? According to South Carolina real estate law, an agent means one authorized and empowered by a written agency agreement to perform actions for a client. A real estate brokerage firm is the agent of a buyer, seller, landlord, or tenant, and the real estate brokerage firm's associated licensees are its sub-agents. All right, that's a little bit of word soup. What does it all mean? The client hires the brokerage to perform certain real estate activities, and the terms of this employment are defined in an agency agreement. So there's a different level of responsibility that the brokerage has to you, whether or not you hire them. Now this brings us to the first conversation you'll have with a realtor, whether you're looking to buy or sell. The South Carolina Disclosure of Real Estate Brokerage Relationships. It is required by law to have this discussion at the first practical opportunity with whom the licensee has substantive contact. In this disclosure, there are two types of relationship: customer and client. In short, a customer is someone that decides not to establish an agency relationship with a brokerage, and a client does. As a customer, you receive an explanation of the scope of services offered. You'll be presented with all offers in a timely manner, accountability of money and other property received on your behalf, honesty, fairness, accurate information, limited confidentiality, and a disclosure of material adverse effects about the property within a licensee's knowledge. And this all sounds like a good bit, which it is. This prevents the licensees from misrepresenting information in the market, and you can take comfort in knowing that the information that you get from an agent is reliable. But what's missing? The major difference is when you become a client, you now have access to client-level duties. These include obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, and reasonable skill and care. Meaning the agent is now working in your best interests as defined in an agency agreement. And now as a client, you can tell me I want a house of a certain size in a certain place with certain amenities, and then once you find it, I want you to submit a winning offer for me, and I will. But without agency, you can ask me to do all of these things, but I have no obedience or loyalty to you to actually take the time to do these things. And this brings us to the last part of this disclosure, the types of agency. In short, you have single, dual, disclosed dual, and designated agency. Single agency is exactly what you would expect. You hire an agent and they work for you in your best interests. Now the next one's a little bit different. South Carolina differs from some other states, especially where you might be from, because South Carolina is a dual agency state. Dual agency is where one agent represents both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction. Now this must always be disclosed amongst all the parties involved every time. This shifts the responsibilities a bit, and now the agent essentially acts as a middleman and cannot share any confidential information between the parties. The agent cannot advise on one client's behalf over the other. And in the event that dual agency does happen, everyone involved has to sign on to a form saying that they acknowledge they're in a dual agency situation. Also, you can opt out of your agent performing dual agency in your agency agreement. The last type of agency is designated agency. This is a hybrid of single and dual agency. This happens when the brokerage has both sides of the deal. For example, if an agent of the Homes Finder Realty Group has the listing and I, as the buyer agent of the Homes Finder Realty Group, make an offer, we're now in designated agency. The broker in charge is now neutral and the agents work on behalf of their clients, but the broker in charge cannot advise one client over the other. And of course, there's a form for this as well. Brokerages can also function as transaction brokerages, basically offering customer level service to both sides of the transaction or only representing one side of the transaction. Lastly, once you've wrapped up this conversation with your agent, they should ask you to sign this. This disclosure is not a contract, it's just merely an acknowledgement that you've had this discussion with your agent. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up for now. There's a lot more information when it comes to agency, both on the buyer and the seller side. So with that, we'll be adding more videos that dive into the specifics of agency as a buyer and agency as a seller. In the meantime, if you have any questions, leave a comment or send us a message on any of our socials down in the description. And if you're considering buying or selling in the low country of South Carolina, I would love to help. My information is also linked down in the description. And of course, this is YouTube, so do not forget to hit like and subscribe to keep the content coming. If you hit the little bell, you'll be notified as soon as we post. Thank you again for watching and have a great day.